This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.
Now recording. I love that. That's amazing. I want that to be my my producer tag. Now recording.
Bro, when we start doing what we're doing, if you want that to be like your tagline in said thing, then crack on. You know how like people have like, you know, when people make what you're making, they kind of like have their name, or they have like a sexy woman say their name or something. You can just have that. That'll be your tagline.
No, there's so many like there's so like it's like Oni, and it's like, oh, that's cool, and it's like, oh, now I want now recording.
That should be a really good idea. This is where, like, in 5 years' time, we get a lawsuit from Discord.
I'll make sure to recreate it to avoid that. Do you know what? I saw that, right, off topic completely. I was watching a guy make music, and do you know the old WoW meme? It's like, wow, and it's all sparkles at the end. That's actually copyrighted heavily.
Is it?
Yeah, he couldn't. He kept getting told off for using that in his music, so he had to recreate it to stop them telling him off.
Wow, that's nuts! Wow, that's nuts! Sorry, let me rephrase. Wow, that's nuts.
No, I find it interesting.
Okay, so yeah, we'll dive into each one of the Arkham games. We'll include Suicide Squad as well, because that technically counts. But we don't need to stick to that one for too long. But we'll go in order of release.
I have it now. I should really play it, but I haven't played it. I there's some stuff I can just talk about it on, but from my perspective, because it'll still be interesting. Like, you've played it, you've completed it. My perspective from looking at it from the outside, and then like we can have a talk about it, and I think that's fine.
That's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing this. Okay, I'm ready when you are. Yeah,
sure. So
right, hang on. I've just got to get my intro words ready. Hang on, let me just take a sip of, so I don't fumble over my intro. I've done that several times before. Okay.
Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Ty Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zio to Hero network, and now we dive in with another episode!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Tiger Nexus podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Ty Tiger, and today we are starting a new sub-series, something similar to Movie Dumpster Dive. I have one of my other friends. We've had James on before. This is the other one. You can hear this person join me on my live streams on Ty Tiger Broadcasting quite a lot. And one thing that me and this friend have in common is games. More so than most people, and I'm very excited to introduce this sub-series and this friend. So introducing Anthony. Hello Anthony, how are you?
I am great, and I'm excited to do this. It's been a while since I've recorded anything.
So welcome to Press Start and Level Up. This sub-series will be diving into different game series. We'll be talking about all sorts of things to do with said games. We could be talking about the storylines, the gameplay. It could be literally anything and everything. We might even give some fun facts and deep dives. Who the fuck knows? It's basically Movie Dumpster Dive just with video games, and I'm really glad that Anthony's joined me on this one, because a lot of the time, and I do feel sorry for James on this, a lot of the time me and Anthony will just go on rants. Whether it's good or bad, it could be either, it could be neither, but we'll rant about games, hence why I asked Anthony himself to join me on this, because I feel like sometimes we'll agree heavily, sometimes we could disagree, and I think that is just going to make some fantastic conversations.
I think disagreeing is going to be the most interesting part. Because that's where the conversations get the most interesting. What you like, what I don't like, or what I like and what you don't like, and why.
Yeah. So with Movie Dumpster Dive, which is my friend Ben, he lives in America, and he actually it was his idea. I just told him, hey, bring it to my podcast so we can make this a thing. We actually taken turns picking a movie, and each episode's a separate movie. So we've done things like the 2016 female Ghostbusters. We've done Star Wars Episode 3, and usually when we pick one, it's usually a case of I like the film or I don't like the film, and whatever I am, Ben is the polar opposite to me, so it makes a very interesting like back and forth. And I know some films that I adore and he hates, so that'll make very interesting episodes in the future. So yeah, it's just a fun discussion topic. And today we are discussing one of the biggest superhero gaming series of all time. And I think it has such a staple in gaming. A lot of games have, I wouldn't say copied, but definitely get inspired by the combat, the stealth mechanics, and all sorts. We're talking about the Arkham series, the Batman Arkham series. The first game came out in 2009. Can you believe that Batman Arkham Asylum is like 16 years old?
It's when you have to describe something as older than Skyrim. Now that's when you feel old.
I like that when you have to say something's older than Skyrim. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's nuts. But yeah, Batman Arkham Asylum came out in 2009. It came out on the PS3 originally. Is the Return to Arkham, is that a remake, or is that, it's just remastered, isn't it?
Return to Arkham, I believe, was Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah, but they're the remastered, so it's been remastered. You can play it on your PS4 and PS5s. And yeah, it's Batman Arkham Asylum kind of started all really for a lot of superhero, or maybe not superhero, but action games in general. It kind of broke the mold for a lot of companies.
We had this massive pause of non-superhero games after Spider-Man 3, if you remember. Yeah. And there was this massive pause. I know there were smaller Spider-Man games that came out, but none really got as big until Arkham Asylum came out. And I feel like that's when we had a proper shift into superheroes, because that's when we then started seeing the MCU come out. And then, of course, now we've got the new Marvel Spider-Man games, which are basically Batman, but Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's Marvel's, I see your ace card, here's mine, type deal. But yeah, Arkham Asylum is a action-adventure game, and basically Batman is taking the Joker to Arkham Asylum, but everything goes absolutely haywire, because he ends up breaking out and he takes over Arkham Asylum, and over the course of the game, you end up running into villains like Bane, Poison Ivy, Is Two-Face in the first one?
I don't think he's mentioned at the very end, because that's what I think leads on to City, or is kind of hinted at what happens in City.
Yeah. So you get to run around Arkham Asylum, you're fighting goons, and of course you run into Harley Quinn, which, Harley Quinn is... Harley Quinn, Joker, and Batman's voice acting is just phenomenal in this game. And in all the games, in all four major titles, the voice acting is always peak. They sound and look incredible. And of course, Kevin Conroy is Batman, which it should have been, and I'm glad it is. I'm glad we still have a major... From a gaming side of things, we have a major impact when it comes to Batman being voiced by Kevin Conroy, because obviously he is a lot of people's Batman voice actor.
I've never known actors or actresses' names properly. I've never learned them, because I was always saying, if they sound like the character, they are the character in my mind, and I like to keep it that way.
Yeah,
but it's that. But it's again, I saw no difference. I think he did an amazing job. I think the guys who played Joker did an amazing job as well. Again, like you said, Harley was fantastic in that. Yeah, I think just sound design as well overall was really good. It had very good vibes. It kept a good tone throughout the entire series.
Did you ever get to play the original Batman Arkham Asylum on PS3? Is that your first?
I played it second.
Oh, really? What was your first one?
City.
Oh, wow. You must have been really confused.
Oh, I knew it was the second one, and I knew
Okay.
going in, but like it doesn't feel like a second one, and that's what I really like about the game. Like you just starts, you're there, and you
Yeah.
go into fight Two-Face.
I think when it comes to the games, I'd say the only thing that would be a bit hiccupy is the fact that in Arkham Knight there is no Joker, and Joker's only in the game because he's in Batman's mind. And
Yeah,
I
no,
think you'd be a bit confused. Like, it is explained; it's literally mentioned like 18 gazillion times. But I think to understand what's going on, you do need to play City first before you go into Night. But I do believe Asylum and City, yeah, they're not really that connected. I mean, the second Joker pops up in City and he's ill, what he did in Asylum's killing him. The very first cutscene where you see the Joker, he literally tells you what happens. He literally explains to Batman that, him becoming a massive titan is literally killing him. He's dying and there is no cure. He's fucked. He literally tells Batman this. So yeah, I can kind of see why you can play Arkham City straight off the bat.
yeah,
Get it?
you have some freedom to do so, but I definitely feel like Arkham Asylum, when you do play it, does give a lot of future reference to what City then becomes.
Yeah.
So like you said, like you then fully understand, oh shit, that's what happened to Joker, that's why Joker died. And so on. But definitely, like you said, Night definitely after that. Origins, people argue about where to play it. They say, oh, do it in the order the game's released, that's the way it was intended. But it's like, but it is chronologically, you could play that first and it works, but definitely I think City or Asylum would be
I would say it depends on how you want to gain the experience, because gameplay wise, it should go after City. Because personally, I think Origins plays better than City does. Gameplay wise, Origins has some of the best gameplay mechanics. But if you want to do story sense, if you're looking just for the story, then yeah, technically speaking, it's called Arkham Origins. It's literally in the name. But Origins you could kind of fill in anywhere, because it is that separate from, there's nothing in Origins that lead up anywhere. It doesn't explain what Joker was doing before Asylum or anything. It's literally how Batman met Joker in this universe. So
yeah, it's a bit disconnected.
Yeah. But still fantastic though. It's got one of the best boss fights in the series, which is Deathstroke.
Oh yeah, it's like I love all the Batman games. I know a lot of them got hate, like especially Origins when that was the one with the car, right?
No, Night is the one.
Was it Night?
Yeah,
Night's the one I'm thinking of. My bad. Night's the one with the car. Night got a lot of hate because the car caused problems on PC, if I remember, and it just completely bricked it for some people. But I played it way after all the fixes came in, so I had quite a really nice time with it.
I like the fact that it turns into a tank. I just don't like the fact that it replaces some of the major story elements with it. So like, you don't realistically fight the Arkham Knight. The major boss fight for Arkham Knight is a tank fight. That's not like, it should be it should be like a Deathstroke fight. It should have been hand combat. That's like my biggest issue with Arkham Knight, is the fact that the tank mechanic takes up so much of the gameplay. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Arkham Knight's meant to be this big military-esque type sort of villain who literally has dominated Gotham, or what's left of Gotham, and all this crap, and you're telling me I'm gonna beat him with my gun. Okay, cool.
I mean, every game has that though, doesn't it? There's always that one. No game is perfect in my mind. Nothing's ever perfect. I'll never rate anything 10 out of 10. Because I don't.
Very true. I know you very well. You never rate anything 10 out of 10.
I don't think anything deserves it really. Because it's like, well, you could have done this. Even if we look back, if we're talking boss fights, even if you look back at the Arkham Asylum, I wasn't that big of a fan of the Scarecrow fights. Visually and cinematically, I think they're pretty cool. But at the end of the day, you do just kind of sneak up on him.
Yeah, that's very true. It's I do like his presence in Arkham Asylum, because obviously, he's hired by Joker to keep you busy. That's the only reason why he's there.
Also it ends up causing one of the best moments in video game history, I think. is when the crash happens in Arkham Asylum.
The crash happens?
If you, you do not remember where the game freaks out on you and it crashes.
It makes you think you're going back to the beginning, and it literally is the first cutscene all over again, and then it glitches again, and then all of a sudden it's Batman in the.
But it makes you feel like your game is broken. It's like it's absolutely horrifying. You're like, no, I got so far, I haven't saved in 2 hours.
But yeah, Arkham Asylum just alone, had so much going for it. You fight Bane. You have to deal with Victor Zsasz, who not many people knew until Arkham Asylum. I'm quite surprised that they even managed to slip in Victor Zsasz. He's only a minor character. He's only in it for 2 major scenes. But like the fact that they put Victor Zsasz is one of the very minor but very interesting Batman villains. I quite like Victor Zsasz. I think he's pretty cool. Killer Croc, actually, I wouldn't call it a boss fight, but he is a challenging component in the gameplay. Obviously, Poison Ivy.
He terrified me.
Really?
That segment terrified me. I hated chase segments back when I was younger. And when you're trying to collect the samples, and he just pops up, and it's like, it's just absolutely shit myself back then.
Well, fun fact. Killer Croc in Arkham Asylum is actually voiced by Steve Bloom, who is a lot of different people. He's Starscream in Transformers Prime, Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. He's Ares in the God of War trilogy. He is a few Ben 10 aliens in Ben 10. He's in Star Wars Rebels. He's someone from Legend of Korra. I can never remember who. He's in the Call of Duty franchise. He does a few things to zombies. So, like, the fact that he managed to get... I know that Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, and Tara Strong are always mentioned. That's Joker, Batman, and Harley Quinn. But Steve Bloom is up there for me. He's such a good, talented voice actor. And he's always the... Basically, he's always the monster or the people with the growly voices. I just listed a few characters, and he's Ben 10's major villain, Vilgax. That kind of says a lot, and he has a lot of range. And the fact that he's Killer Croc is pretty fucking cool.
Oh no, like just having a quick look, and I think it's the right guy. But stuff like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, is that the guy?
1 second. Let me.
BLUM.
Yeah, Steve Bloom. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like Spike Spiegel. He was Orochimaru and Zabuza and Momochi in Naruto as well. That's really cool. He's got really cool.
Yeah.
So like having someone like that, like massive, and that definitely helps. It's a great casting, I think. Then
he's Wolverine in a lot of video games, and I believe he's Wolverine in Marvel Rivals.
Oh, that's sick. I really like it when they have like someone like consistent as well. Like
he's Hal Jordan in the Injustice series of games. But yeah, he's a top dog voice actor. The fact that he's Killer Croc, he does such a good job. I love the way Killer Croc sounds. But yeah, with characters, if you can actually explore a lot of different buildings. There's like 4 major buildings, I believe, that you can explore, and there's actually a lot of references. Clayface is actually in one of the cells, and he'll actually shapeshift into different people. In Asylum.
X-ray, and this is a really cool feature. If anybody didn't know, you can use the X-ray feature, and he has no bones.
Yeah,
if you remember this while you're playing Arkham City, you can actually tell Joker's a fake much earlier on, because if you scan him, Joker has no bones.
They also include Ra's al Ghul. He's actually in the Asylum's morgue, but his body tag, it says Ra's al Ghul, and ventriloquist dummy Scarface also appears several times throughout the storyline. Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and Two-Face also have a lot of references throughout the game. And you're saying about how the whole facade of Joker. So I'm just going to quickly explain that for people who don't know. Well, spoiling the game, people should know that by this point. Basically, at the end of Arkham Asylum, Joker injects himself with an upgraded version of the Venom serum that turns Bane into his big monstrous form, and he calls it the Titan Formula. And Joker becomes this monstrous thing. He's the final boss fight. Now, in Arkham City, which is the sequel, he's ill. He's dying. His blood is basically poisoned now because of said incident. And he poisons Batman. And he sends his blood off into Gotham. And that's the kind of like the major focus of Arkham City is you kind of have to come up with a cure, and or else people are going to die. And all of a sudden, it kind of seems like Joker has taken the cure, and Joker's so healthy, he's back to his clown, ridden ways. But it turns out it's actually Clayface. Joker hires Clayface to enact himself so he can still do his devilish things. And yeah, Anthony's right. You can. I recorded all of the Arkham series in 2024. You can go check that out on Tiger. I did the whole lot. And playing through Arkham City, knowing that Joker isn't Joker a lot of the time, it's actually thrown in your face a lot. There is, if you listen to their conversations, whilst you're kicking the crap into bad guys, sneaking around and taking down dudes, doing puzzles and shit, there is so much they throw in your face, it's unreal.
Doing any story in hindsight can sometimes reveal so many hidden things. And I think that's a very cool thing when you're going to replay it as well.
Because I can't remember exactly what mission you have to do, but at some point whilst you're doing something, as Batman and crap, Joker's on the telecoms and he's talking and he's making an announcement. And at this point, everyone thinks he's healthy again, but he starts coughing his guts up. And you can hear Harley Quinn going, "See, I told you you weren't right for this. Come on, move out the way." And you can hear Harley Quinn barking at someone, but she's not barking at the Joker. You can tell she's not barking at the Joker because you can hear Joker coughing in the background. She attends to him. You can actually hear her go, "Oh, Mr. J," getting all upset and shit. And she screams at someone for not doing a good job. And it's little things like that you have to really pay. That's one of my favorite things about Arkham City. Especially, it happens in all the games, but especially Arkham City, is that just listening to conversations between the thugs, the goons that are just hanging around, Joker and Harley Quinn, whoever else is around, you can really pick up on really cool conversations or interesting conversations.
I'm not sure if you've ever got these shorts of the Batman games, and it's just people standing about listening to the thugs.
Yeah.
And some of the lines are hysterical. It's I hope the Batman doesn't show up as you're just standing behind the guy.
One of my favorite ones is because obviously Batman Arkham City starts off you are Bruce Wayne. He gets kidnapped and gets chucked into Arkham City, but obviously you get your Batsuit, and so one of my favorite conversations between the goons are I heard Bruce Wayne's around. I wonder if the Batman killed him. And it's just well. No.
I think there was also a similar one where they actually took a guess, and it's I reckon it's Bruce Wayne. And you hear the other folks are "Oh no, absolutely not," and it's just
give this man a prize.
It's you're an idiot, and it's nah, this man's figured it out.
Give this man a prize. And then going into voice acting. And things like that. With Arkham City, they introduce a lot more of the characters. Robin pops up for a minute. I think Nightwing pops up as well. Just quickly, and they fuck off again. Robin's voiced by Troy Baker in Arkham City, and Troy Baker's another fantastic voice actor. He's just one of the top dogs. He's Joel from The Last of Us. He's obviously Sam in Uncharted 4. He's loads. I'm not gonna bother listing everything in too much, but the fact that they managed I don't think Robin's in Arkham City that long. He's literally in 2 cutscenes, I think, something like that. It's more of a case of they basically wanted to show off that, oh yeah, by the way, it's Tim Drake, Robin, Dick is Nightwing. They kind of wanted to show off where Batman is in his career.
You realize it's like, oh no, it's like he has got a Robin, but this Robin's just older, so he can do stuff by himself now.
Yeah. And did you ever play? Going slightly off different direction. Did you ever play the Joker DLC for Arkham Asylum?
No, I missed all the DLCs. This was back in the day, like where I had to get everything on disc, and I didn't have an internet connection. So I've missed all the DLCs.
Okay, so the challenges you could do where like they put you in a room that you've explored somewhere in the storyline, and you have to do like stealth missions. It's that, and you can also do the fighting challenges. And playing as the Joker is nuts. It's an experience in itself. But here's the dilemma: he has only 3 gadgets. One of them is a pair of goggles, which act as your air quote X-ray vision. It's not X-ray vision. It makes things all trippy, and it has this like ooh noise. Yeah. It's really trippy. A gun with 1 bullet, and then a pair of chattering teeth, which you can remote control and make blow up. That is it. That's all you have, and you can't jump. As in, like, you can't, like, jump really far like Batman can. You can't glide. You can't grapple hook. So doing the stealth missions as the Joker, fuck me, you're on edge the entire time. You are crouched the entire time. You're ducking everywhere. And fuck me, you better not get spotted. It amps up the stealth missions to a whole new level.
Oh, it's also like levels of detail. Like, you don't really see too much now. Like, they didn't have to give him chattering teeth. They didn't have to give him a gun with 1 bullet. Even the silly little goggles, right?
Yeah,
like, nowadays, that would all be skipped, and it'd be like, oh, he's just got a version of Batman's kit, and it's just reskinned. But to actually think about that, and I think it's a lot of the love that got put into those games. And just the overall details as well.
Yeah, so with the chattering teeth, I think it's in City as well. I do not believe it's in Arkham Knight, but in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, as you traverse through the main storylines, there's chattering teeth laying around, and you can actually hit them with your battering. It gives you XP points.
There's so many hidden details with those games. Like, I didn't realize in City until years later that you could actually face off Zaz, or like at least like Zaz is in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I never knew that because, like, this, again, younger me was stupid. Like, I never thought Riddler because it was too much effort.
I just love the fact you're like, yeah, younger me was dumb. I didn't do this.
Like, I was back in the day, it's like, I want to complete a game, but looking back, oh no, these were absolute fucking pieces of games. Like, I replayed it on, like, the hardest difficulty and stuff like that, and that's quite an experience as well.
Well, with Arkham City, the side quests, they kind of do the same with Arkham Knight, actually. The side quests are little pocket stories that in their own. The whole storyline of Hush is shared. Granted, it's not exactly well executed. It's very 2 minor side missions, 1 in City, 1 in Night. But they do the story of Hush in the Arkham series. In Arkham City, you have to find, I want to say it's 4 bodies. It could be 5. 5, but I'm going to say it's 5. 5 dead bodies that have their faces removed and their heads bandaged up.
Yeah.
And you have to analyze what's left of their face. And then you find the location, you walk in, and the gate closes on you, and you turn around and you're staring at Bruce Wayne that's covered in stitches. And that's basically that's the whole storyline of Hush is. And then he leaves. You're stuck in this room. You've got to break out. And then in Arkham Knight, you get I think it's a distress call from Fox himself. Lucius himself. I could be wrong though. But anyway, you've got to go see Lucius. And this side mission is pointless. It's so stupid, but it's actually done very well in one sense. Basically, you enter Wayne Manor main office. You normally glide in, but this time around, because you think Lucius is in danger, you enter as Bruce Wayne. That's what makes you think that you are playing as Bruce Wayne, because you enter an elevator, but then when the elevator doors open, you walk out as Bruce Wayne. So you're sort of thinking, oh, okay, we've derobed. Okay, cool. So you walk in and you're set. You go to your computer and you type away the password. It says error, and then something scans your eye and it says identify match declined. It doesn't scan. It doesn't allow you to access the computer, and it happens like 3 or 4 times. It keeps saying warning, this many tries you'll be locked out. Then Lucius walks in. And Lucius is like, oh, Mr. Wayne, what are you doing here? And he walks up, and you instantly have to press triangle. And it's like, why are you pressing triangle for? You grab Lucius and smack him against the table, get him to scan his own eye, which unlocks the computer. And then as this is happening, it zooms out. And then it becomes a screen, and then you see Batman watching the camera. I was like, oh my god, you've literally just played out what happened. But it's Batman watching it the entire time. That's so fucking clever.
It's like the little things like that. They did a similar thing in, and I think it's like where you get the homages from, like in Spider-Man 1, Marvel Spider-Man 1, where like you end up looking at the camera, and that's when you first start playing as Mary Jane and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think such like those little things, it's those tiny details that these guys are adding that like just make, or they added, I should say, that just make these games very like meaningful in a way. They're like a very like you can see they're made by a fan.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Deadshot's got a whole set of side missions. Azrael's a whole thing. You got to help out Mr. Freeze. The only like issue, the only like a little bit of a like hiccup type thing is Black Mask appears in Arkham City through the side missions, but he's dead in Arkham Origins. So like either there's like another Black Mask, or he didn't actually die, or like that's the only hiccup there is Black Mask appears as a side quest. And
I think that's just one of those things you get for like, of course they did it over several years, didn't they? Like Origins wasn't first, and I feel like a lot of stuff ended up getting, and it's why I think a lot of people don't really think too big on Origins compared to the rest of them, where it's just like, oh, it changed a few things and don't make sense in general.
So, question for you, what did you think of the fact that throughout Arkham City, it broke up the main storyline by allowing you to play as Catwoman?
I didn't mind at the time, really, and even now I think I find that kind of alright. I'm not sure if any, like, I never looked it up, like, if anybody had issues. I just thought it was, like, fun. It's like, oh, I'm playing as Catwoman now.
I do like the fact that the last time you play as Catwoman does actually tie into the main storyline, because the last time you play as Catwoman, Batman ends up being crushed by a bunch of debris and he's stuck, and then you switch to Catwoman, you do her little mission, and it ends with you stood there and you're looking at the monitor because Joker's like televising the fucking crap, and it actually gives you the option to complete the game by turning left and taking the money, which finishes the game.
Oh yeah,
or you can turn right, leave the money, and go help Batman. And I just found that really cool.
Stuff like that is I love in games. It's like the hidden endings in Far Cry as well. I loved them at the time, and I just, again, small details. I absolutely love them when it comes to games. Even like aside from that, it's just mainly vibes. I find with video games, like I loved the horror vibe of Asylum after playing City.
Yeah,
like City's very like, it's dark, it's like it's damp, but it's not like Arkham is horror.
Yeah, I feel like City, I don't know. I feel like City kind of makes you feel like a more of an anti-hero than, because you're in the whole place is, there's no one good person really. Arkham City itself is literally suicide slums turned into a prison town. That's literally what it is. So, like, everyone that lives there is a prisoner of some kind. So, like, everyone that you meet, you end up either going to kick the crap into, or they shouldn't be there, because, like, obviously you save the police officers from Penguin and shit, so, like, you do save a couple of people, but everyone you run into, you're gonna end up punching in the face.
I mean, that's Batman, though, isn't it? Like, if you haven't met the Batman if you're not sent to hospital by the end.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
Did you know that Arkham City takes place 18 months after Asylum?
see, this is the thing, right? I didn't realize it was that later, right?
Now,
'Cause
see, I'm looking at the wiki now. I've kept it up so like I can bring up topics and shit. And yeah, it literally says that the events of Arkham City are set 18 months after. I was like, what? Hang on.
see, I thought it was much sooner because at the very end of Asylum, and this is coming from me. I played City first, right? So at the start of City, you're like on top of that roof. You drop down and you go inside the area where there's Two-Face. Right, and if I remember the ending of Asylum, at the end of Asylum, they're like, "Oh yeah, Two-Face is causing havoc and he's trying to rob a place." So I thought at the time like it was much closer
Yeah.
at the time, and like, but no, I didn't realize it was 18 months. That's personally, I'm not sure. Like, did you think that's shorter than you were expecting, or?
No, that's longer than I was expecting, because the fact that it takes 18 months for Joker to die is the major plot thing, because
Oh yeah,
you know that's a long time. You know,
of him just
and the way
slowly-
the way he looks, and he kind of looks like a zombie. You know, that's 18 months. He must be in agony.
Yeah, so no, definitely. Like if you think about it that way, it's like, oh yeah, how the hell did he last that long? When by the end he's basically a corpse.
Literally, yeah. So with City, I think the only thing that I'm a bit at, like, okay, fair enough, is the fact that Ra's al Ghul is the mastermind behind Protocol 10.
I mean,
Because Hugo Strange is the forefront the entire time until the very last second.
I mean, my main problem with City is the Riddler missions.
Oh no, don't even start on that. I knew you were going to bring that up. Oh, I got PTSD thinking about it.
It's why I never did them.
I've never done them. Oh,
for
my,
anybody-
the fact that you've never done them says something, because the one thing everyone needs to know about Anthony is he is a hard completionist. Like, if he gets a game that he like thoroughly enjoys and like likes the gameplay and everything, he'll do everything. He, you know, like the TikToks and the memes of like where it says that like, oh, you go do the first major story mission, but you've done all the side quests first, so you breeze through the storyline. That is Anthony.
Yeah, no, I've so many times it's caused me so many issues because if there's something to do, I'll do it. But again, I was younger, I didn't really care too much. But it was just, I was still a bit of a completionist back then. I wanted to do everything. But the Riddler, they were just too much for me. And again, I didn't have internet, so I couldn't look up a guide. I'd have to buy one from like Game if they ever appeared, because they were very rare to find anyway. But it was just like, oh, I hated it. And the fact that like, in the first one, it's kind of all right. You go in Asylum, you pick up all the things. At the end, you find that he gets arrested over the telecom. But in the second one, then there's an actual event connected to it, and it's like I never knew what the ending was until much after playing it, and it just kind of sat on my nerves. That really,
Yeah, the whole the Riddler trophies are in every single Batman game, and it's just like, why do you need to, like, you know?
It's like there's 400 of them though.
It's. And the thing is, in Arkham Knight, there's more storyline to it, because in Arkham Knight he kidnaps Catwoman, and he's got Catwoman held hostage, and makes it so if you don't get all the trophies, she dies. So in Arkham Knight, they understood, you know, they were like, well, people didn't like the trophies, we're gonna do the trophies, but at least now you got a reason to do them.
Yeah, well, it's a bit more incentive, really. Like you're a bit more attached to Catwoman. But like you look at like Arkham City, there's 282 Riddler trophies, each with like a separate little puzzle, each hidden in little areas. You know,
Jesus Christ.
And is there more? Is there 400? It's just it's just painful, and it's just one of those things. Like, I'm glad it's started to die off in games.
Like, I don't mind the actual riddles because there are moments where, like, I think it's Arkham Asylum that did this, where when you're walking around, it'll pop up in green writing, it'll give you a riddle, and then you've got to use your quick scan on certain things you see, and that's your answer.
Oh,
So,
was
like,
it
it'll
like
get
lining up texts on walls and stuff like that as well? Was like
that's yeah. It all depends because some of them are simple. Like one of the riddles in the main manor building in Asylum. It says something about a leader who's betrayed in the artistic format or something. It's like a riddle, and it literally is the picture of the warden. You literally have to scan the picture, and that's the answer. There's little things like that. There's one for Mr. Freeze as well. Something about being having a frozen heart, or your heart's as cold as the woman in ice or something, and you have to scan Mr. Freeze's gun, which is like in a weapon hold room or something. I can't remember. But literally, it's like little things like that. I didn't mind that. That's cool. You know, the Riddler. It's in his name. But why the fuck is the Riddler making you collect trophies? He's not called the Trophy Lars.
So some of the puzzles as well, right? Some of them are like, oh, I can't actually do this now because I'm missing a gadget that I got to get in the future. So now I've got to remember that there's one spot I haven't done a puzzle in. And it just seemed a bit like it. Again, it was just like, oh, I'm going to have to go out of my way. And that's where it felt a bit bad, in my opinion. That's like my one negative take about the entire Arkham series, was just making the Riddler that obnoxious.
Yeah, I think that's the only major downfall. Like the only major criticism. Like I can excuse the tank missions in Arkham Knight if I have to. Like I think that's my second criticism. But like my major is that Riddler trophies are just a wank. It's so tedious. And like they're everywhere as well. And it's just like you said, you know, some of them you can't even get. You walk in, like it's really early on as well. Especially in City, you walk into like an event, you get into an event, and it's like, oh, Riddler trophy, get zapped. Yeah, you can't do this until you unlock something later, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna remember this 5 hours later, you know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, like you've gone into the police station, or like you've gone inside the museum, and like it's like, oh, there's like this one trophy you can't get a hold of until you get like the electric boomerang or whatever, and it's like, oh my, stop. Just stop. And again, one of my favorite parts of gaming is that type of stuff has slowly started dying with Ubisoft.
Yeah, one of the things I do like about Asylum and City, Night didn't do it, and I don't think Origins did it either, but the first two definitely did, is you can find tape recordings in City and Asylum. They're tape recordings of, I think in Asylum, they're interviews, like therapy interviews with the villains. I can't remember if it's the same for City, but you can find tape recordings and like you can listen to like some of the characters, kind of like, you know, I think with Killer Croc, he actually ends up on like kind of like, you know, being cool with the fact that, you know, he's a big monster with teeth, and then the next tape you get, he says that like a bunch of the prisoners tried to like hit the crap into him, and they broke something of his, so he ripped one of their heads off. And it's just like, whoa, okay, that's a jump. Like, they're actually really interesting to listen to.
See, yeah, no, I think stuff like that, I think, is great at collectible stuff that adds more to the character. Like, there's, yeah. It still stuck to me, the one, and I don't know why it stuck to me, it's the Solomon Grundy stuff.
Oh, Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy was such a big take as well. The fact that, like, I didn't watch any game trailers as a kid. Watching trailers just wasn't a thing unless it was on. And like I was watching kids channels, so, you know. So the fact that when you play City, you end up falling, and then you're in this like basement-esque area, and you're like, well, okay, it's mostly gonna be Bane, and then all of a sudden Solomon Grundy comes out. I was like, oh my god, they put Solomon Grundy in the game. But yeah, carry on. You're saying?
Oh no, it's just those little. Again, it comes down to like what I appreciate. People that enjoy what they're making, they'll make little small details to the environment. still add lore in that gives little hints to what a character is doing when you don't see them.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the older school Batman stuff that did that really well.
Yeah, the little nods to detailing, like especially in the first two games, is phenomenal when it comes to like that sort of stuff, and it also kind of makes you appreciate, because they have to do the voice recording for all that as well. They have to record lines for that as well. It's like you don't. It's not like someone just edited in graphically a picture or an image. Someone actually had to go into a booth and record that just for 30 seconds for you to get some background on a villain you might not know. That is class. That is such a cool little thing to do.
Oh, it's just that extra little, it probably costs them tons of money to do for something that not everyone's going to see as well.
Because Joker has one, Harley Quinn has some, so that's Mark Hamill and Tara Strong. That Steve Bloom's Croc has one. I think Poison Ivy has some in Arkham Asylum. I could be wrong. I know for a fact Victor Zsasz has some in Arkham Asylum, so his voice actor got to do some more stuff as well. So yeah, it isn't a cheap thing to do.
Well, it's even in stuff. It's like, there's been somewhere. It's like you don't even see the person in the game, and it's just you can just get a voice line from them. And it's like you've got a character, because people want to know where people love Batman and they love the Batman characters mainly, and they want to know what these people have been up to in these games. So it's like being like, oh yeah, we tell a little bit of the story. We don't have to put them in the game, but we tell them. But actually spending the money to do that, I feel like so much more to what makes those games great.
So you said that you never got to play the DLC. Does that mean you never got to play the Arkham Knight DLC?
Yeah, I think I've just missed all the DLC for them. I had no internet.
So I have a huge gripe with the Arkham Knight DLC. So the Arkham Knight DLC, I think there's 6. I want to say there's 6. Hang on, I'm actually gonna have a look because I want to make sure I get my facts correct. We have 1 second. Why are you giving me Steam? Go away. What the hell? Thank you. Yeah, give me that instead. Thank you. Okay, so there's multiple different they're basically story packs that are individual tiny I think
it's Harley Quinn, Red Hood and stuff.
Yeah. So I think I recorded one because I recorded all of them. I recorded all 6. I think I recorded 20 minutes. So Harley Quinn's our gameplay's okay. She's got this hyper sensitive mode which you can trigger, and if you trigger it you bounce around the room and just kick the crap into everybody. And I think I finished her her segment because of that helped me a lot. But her whole thing is breaking out Poison Ivy, taking Poison Ivy to Gotham. So hers predates Arkham Knight by a couple weeks. Your final boss is Nightwing, and that's a bitch as well. He's a hard boss fight. Red Hood is Kid in Black Mask. So again, that kind of takes away the whole Origins, he died in Origins. And that is after Arkham Knight. So he officially becomes Red Hood, because obviously Arkham Knight helps you take down Scarecrow, doesn't he? So he kind of, I guess, is a redeeming thing. Then there's a GCPD Lockdown, which is in the side content. You do one of the missions in main story, but then it becomes side quests. You have to find vans, I think it is. I think they're vehicles of money, I think, or guns or something for Nightwing. Now, GCPD is after that. It takes place after those side quests, and basically the goons are trying to break. They've broken into the top floors of the GCPD building, and they're trying to get Penguin out. That's why it's called GCPD Lockdown. And there's 2 major scenes. There's a bit where you're inside the building, you got to stealth take down everybody, and then they go to the roof because Penguin manages to get in the elevator. So Oracle locks the elevator so it can't open, and then you have to fight all these goons. But they literally give you every single type of goon at once. So you've got dudes with swords, you've got dudes with machetes, you got guys with guns, guys with electrical sticks, guys with shields. You got these big muscly motherfuckers. There's literally every type of goon there. And it's not hard, but it's a bit of a challenge. Catwoman's Revenge is, again, after you collect all the trophies, it's after Arkham Knight, and it links that. She basically breaks into Riddler's lair after Riddler gets arrested and steals these computer chip things that would make her millions, and yet you end up fighting these robots. A flip of a coin is Robin's storyline, which I do like that one because he's after the Penguin, I think. But the reason why I like that one is because you talk to Oracle constantly, and
Two-Face.
Is it Two-Face? Okay, could be Two-Face. Yeah, that makes... Yeah, okay. So as you're talking to Oracle, you learn that since Arkham Knight, they've gotten married. They haven't gone on their honeymoon yet because of him being Robin and things. And so there's a lot of decent conversation. Then you have the best one, and this is why it pisses me off. Because you have a matter of family, which is the killing... It's the killing joke, basically. It's the event that leads up to Joker shooting Batgirl, because obviously they even showed off a type of scene of that in Arkham Knight. That's another storyline they managed to rope in. The Arkham series did a fantastic job roping in a lot of the different like stories that are pretty popular. And it's 3 hours long. It's like an actual DLC like story. There's traversal stuff. You have to get to point A to point B. You work with Robin the entire time. You know, you have to, like, save people, the stealth missions, and Batgirl plays so fucking cool. A lot of people complain that she's just female Batman, but nah, she's all kicks. So she's sliding, she's jumping, she's flipping. She plays really well. But the fact that all of their attention went into a matter of family, it's like 3 hours long, but yet all the others are barely 30 minutes, and you could literally, one of them, I think, videos like 14 minutes completing it. It's just like, why couldn't all of you just had, like, maybe not 3 hours, but just a bit more attention to detail, please? Because, like, Matter of Family is so good.
I feel like that's what happened with gaming, though, wasn't it? Though it stopped being, oh, we want to make like an expansion to a game. You know, we want to release like so many hours of extra content. It's like, oh well, we need packs now. We need multiple to make a season pack.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was just the overall problem that ended up happening with games. So I think it ended up hindering tons, not just like the Batman games. Like it ended up, it's numerous, like to where you can't count now.
Yeah, and then the other thing they gave us is the season of it, basically 4 extra set of side quests, which put you up against Killer Croc, Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze, and Ra's al Ghul. So that's actually in the Arkham Knight game, that actually gets put in the Gotham map, so that you can just go and find them. Basically, Mad Hatters, you actually have to go into the police precinct, and then you have to go into an interview room where you'll see Mad Hatter sat there crying, and you have to talk to him, and he tells you that he's lost Alice, and then you have to go find someone that he's possibly killed at a location, and that starts the DLC side quest. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just a shame that the Matter of Family is such a good DLC. Love playing as Batgirl, but the others just got so shunned. They got so pushed to one side. It's so sad. Like, there's good moments in all of them, but it's just like Matter of Family tops the cake. It's so good. It could have been its own game if they just made it a couple hours long. You could have given us a prequel Killing Joke Arkham game. I don't understand why they didn't.
Oh, I was just about to say, it's so cool when they like, do stuff like that. Like, again, like you said, like even just having like Killing Joke actually featured in any video game, or even having like a matter of that storyline feature in any game is so cool. Especially because like the Batman story is huge, like, and it's been rewritten as well. So it's interesting seeing like where they put stuff.
Oh yeah, like so you've got Under the Red Hood, The Killing Joke, Hush. Like, there's so many like what people deem major Batman tales. Just some of them are minor, granted, but they are just neatly woven into the story. What's your thoughts on the fact that Jason Todd ended up being Arkham Knight?
I don't really have a strong opinion like against it. I feel like it's fine. It's like I'm not too attached to those characters to be like, oh, I hate it or I absolutely love it. It's just like I just overall okay, meh. Not the most exciting opinion, but
See, I don't mind the fact that he's Arkham Knight. It's just I feel like it's I don't know. I guess a part of me wished it was executed just a little bit better, or something. I don't know. It feels like something's missing. Like I don't understand. Maybe it's just me. Like if they made it so Arkham Knight wasn't Jason and they did Red Hood properly, then alright. I would prefer that, I guess.
haven't they done a few things? Like yeah, I was about to say like he's been Red Hood. Was he Joker at one point? In like another like a weird offshoot.
Maybe, I don't know. Batman's fucking almost 100 years old by this point. Like
Yeah,
he's
like,
like 90 something. Like in the 1930 something he came out, so we're getting close to him being 100. So but yeah, it's just like as much I love the Red Hood and Jason, it's I don't know, I guess it just felt a bit forced, I guess. Like I love the fact that throughout Arkham Knight, you know, the Joker really does like throw things in your face. The way that when you lose Oracle and Oracle gets kidnapped, you know, Joker's like, well, this isn't the first time that you up, is it, Batsy? And then you actually see what happens. You know, you see, Oracle open the door and she gets shot, and then okay, they don't make it as creepy as the animated movie and the comics do, but he takes a couple pictures. He's like, "Oh, I'll give this to your dad. I think he'll like that a lot." Yes, and then he walks out and it's like, "Oh my god, that's literally the killing you scene. Awesome, woohoo!" And things, and like they show the fact that Jason Todd gets air quote killed because he doesn't actually die in this, and you see him torture Jason a couple times, and it's just like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. I do feel like, the storyline they have in Arkham Knight where there's the 4 people that have the Joker blood still, like they never got cured.
Yeah.
I do feel like that should have been its own game. I feel like they could have done some really cool things with that, like have the 4 of them spread across Gotham, and like they've taken over a section of Gotham to themselves. You know how like in Far Cry 5, you got the 3 points of the map and each sibling. Kind of do something similar with each map. Each part of the map is different in some way. The goons are different because, you got one Joker that's an old man. You got one Joker who's a crazy woman in love with. You've got one Joker who's like a really cocky, smart-ass dude. And then you got one butch black motherfucker who's also infected. Like, they're 4 very different characters. So the way that they would rule would also be very different.
See, one of the things I think I really wouldn't mind having as an Arkham or Batman style game is one where he's much older.
Yeah, kind of.
Just an old the old dog who's just been like, who has to do it again, and like maybe make it like the Batman's last story or something like that. But like see how he can handle it, and like maybe like you then have to pass it on to someone. But like they've done it before in like the animated series where they showed like how he's still going, like even when he's like 70.
Yeah. The Dark Knight Returns is what you're talking about. The suit is what Batflick's suit is referencing in Batman vs Superman. But yeah, Batman Returns is huge. It's one of like the bigger storylines. It's like, Bruce Wayne's like 60 or 70 something. The Joker's somehow still alive, and like his suit is got this like spinal thing that like almost penetrates his spine to keep his spine in check, and he's got like shoulder blade enhancements and things. He doesn't break a bone and shit like this. But yeah, that would be really cool because you could add gameplay mechanics where like, if you do too much of something, maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't lose health, or maybe it cripples one the mechanics because of it, and you have to make sure that old man Bruce stays alive.
You know, like even then, like you could even have like the side characters be like Bruce, you're too old for this. Let me handle it and stuff like that. And of course, like he's a stubborn old man at this point, and he's just like trying to prove himself still. Like he's not like withered, like he is still the Batman.
It would be kind of cool if they did their own version of Batman Beyond, in the sense of, you know, you have two types of gameplay.
Yeah.
You've got Batman Beyond, who's like the spry, athletic, jumping around dude, but he doesn't have as much tech or gliding ability or whatever as Old Man Bruce. You jump between the two. You know, like they're kind of like Spider-Man in the sense of Peter and Miles, where you got two storylines. They kind of work together, they bounce off each other, kind of do that, but old man and a kid who thinks he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't. That'd be really cool to see, like, you know, just old man Bruce just sat there like, right, I'm going to go kick Riddler's ass because he's left too many trophies around. I'll be back as soon as I can get off this chair.
Even have it like with him, like you got the younger, new spry one, like, and he makes a mistake because he is you. And then of course, like you have the old Batman, like he can make mistakes too because like he's just too old to continue, but at least he can clean up like after himself. Like whereas like the younger one might need that experience to continue on. I feel like it's just a story that hasn't been tapped. But what I really appreciated about the Arkham games is that it wasn't an origin.
Yeah, no, they do show off little things. You do see that for his nightmares of, you know, when Scarecrow jabs you.
Oh yeah.
But like you're gonna though. Like let's be honest, you know, if you don't see the origin, it gets referenced. You know, even like the MCU, we don't see how Spider-Man got bit, but he even says to Tony, you know, when I don't do things, you know, what I can do, people get hurt. You know, it's a little nod to like his origin story. You know, you get nods or something. So like, yeah, it's Batman. If you don't see his parents die, you're not playing a Batman game.
Hey, whatever happened to Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637?
Dude, you don't know?
Clearly I don't know, or I wouldn't be asking.
It's moved to Tiger Tales on YouTube.
Tiger Tales? You mean that YouTube channel ran by Ty Tiger?
Yep, that's the one. Ty Tiger brought Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 to his channel, and it's better than ever. There's even some new stories, too.
No way! I loved Storytime. I can't wait to check it out on Tiger Tales. Thanks for the heads up.
Catch all your favorite episodes of Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 now on Tiger Tales on YouTube. Subscribe and don't miss out on any of the fun.
Well, you know, like, it wasn't Asylum where you see that, like, you just see their bodies in the body bags, don't you? And they just
and they move. That was creepy. That like 2009. So I'm, hang on, almost 10. So I'm like 9, almost 10, right? And you've got this like the two body bags, and you open them, and you just see this dead woman. She's okay, she's just dead. And Batman's like, oh, mother. And it's like, oh, it's a dead woman. And all of a sudden it's like, Bruce, come join us. It's like, whoa, okay, this woman moved. F you.
It's like, the horror game. Like, the first one is a horror game.
Yeah.
Like it pulls these dead bodies at you. Like, you got the jump scares from, like, Killer Croc. You, of course, got Scarecrow in there. And then you got the game trying to crash on you, like, faking out a crash on you as well. Like, it was just a horror game.
And then if you think about it, you got Poison Ivy doing a whole fucking with all the plants and stuff. I mean, that's just fucking a Little Shop of Horrors, you know, all over again.
Is it? I saw a hilarious clip, and I can't remember if it was from Asylum, where like there's a crazy guy. He's in a cell, like some form of cell. He's just crazy, losing his plot, and he just turns around. He starts chasing the guy, and of course the guy's playing just turns around and runs as Batman. It's like. And stuff like that, but I believe it's from Asylum, and it's like it's that atmosphere of like, yeah, sure you're Batman, but like this is still like a dark place to be. This is the Asylum.
Yeah. Like you're literally in the DC equivalent of a madhouse, and it's a supervillain madhouse. It's even worse, you know. Like I really do want them to make a horror film based off Arkham Asylum. I think that'd be a really cool horror film, like a DC horror movie.
I think it'd be interesting, and I feel like maybe we'll get it with the Robin Pattinson one. Maybe eventually that's what that'll turn into.
Yeah, you never know.
It's the third film. We're in the asylum. So
it's quite funny how we're talking about Arkham Knight, and I ended up arguing with someone on TikTok about this because there is comic books that tie into Arkham Asylum. No, sorry, Arkham in between Arkham Asylum and City, showing off what Batman's doing in between the 18 months apparently, and then there's an Arkham Knight prequel which shows off the Arkham Knight's origins. And so this person on TikTok was going, facts you don't know about the Arkham series. And it was just a slideshow. You can just look at these pictures and he's explained a few things. And the two things that he got the most arguments about, and they've been confirmed if you read the books and you look on the wiki page, these have been confirmed. But you know, the very, very beginning of Arkham Knight, you're looking through like this police officer's point of view, and you're in that like, is it like a restaurant or something?
Yeah. I know what you're talking
so
about.
you're walking around, and one of the waitresses say to you, or one of the bartenders say to you that, oh, there's a guy smoking in the corner. Can you go talk to him, please? And the police officer's like, yeah, just let me finish my cup and I'll go. So you walk towards this guy, you know, he is smoking in the corner. And then obviously the gas bomb thing goes off and you start hallucinating, which, by the way, that's a sick-ass sequence. That's Jason Todd. The guy smoking in the corner is Jason Todd. And everyone kept on arguing with this guy going, it's not. And no, it is. Even the developers have said, yes, that is Jason Todd sat in the corner. He's the one who let off the bomb. And he's not Arkham Knight who does it because he had to stay hidden. Because Batman's not going to know what Jason looks like straight off the bat. But that is Jason Todd who sets off the fear gas in, you know, the first explosion in the restaurant. And the second one is, it started this whole argument of, does Jason die in the world of Arkham and then come back as Arkham Knight? Because the original story of Red Hood is Joker kills him, and then he gets put in the Lazarus pit, and then he comes back and then takes the Red Hood mantle after Joker's original mantle, because that was Joker's original mantle before he went nuts, and he goes to kill Joker as the Red Hood. It's like he's making Joker relive his own nightmare or something. And I thought that he never dies, because Batman even says, when you first get the reveal that, oh my god, it's Jason, Batman even says, oh, I thought you died. I saw you die, right? And then Jason goes, no, I sat there waiting for you to save me for months on end. And then Joker shows me a picture of you with a new Robin. And you even see the cutscenes of like when Joker shows him the picture of the new Robin and things. In the comic books, it's actually Deathstroke that breaks him out. He's actually in Arkham Asylum with the Joker. And whilst everything's happening with Batman and all this crap, Deathstroke breaks Jason out. And he frees Jason, and Jason's like, oh, why'd you save me for? And basically, Joker hires Deathstroke to get him out, making it look like he broke him out, because Joker doesn't want Batman knowing that he's alive. So he hires Deathstroke, but Deathstroke's like, oh, I'm meant to keep you in this location, but I can't be fucked, and lets him go. And then I think it's like 6 issues long or something. It's very short, but basically through these comic books, you see Jason get his armor, how the Arkham Knight meets Harley Quinn and all this stuff, and he waits until Joker dies, and then when Joker's dead, that's when the Arkham Knight Bait or Jason then sits there and kind of says to himself, right, now it's my time to get my revenge on Batman. But he doesn't actually die in the Arkham universe. It's really strange how this version of Jason doesn't die, but he still ends up being that fucked in the head. You know, instead of going after Joker, he goes after Batman. I guess it's like a flip of the coin in this scenario. You know, instead of going after one, you're after the other. But yeah, he doesn't actually die, which is just not an odd storytelling perspective, but it's an interesting one.
Well, I think it definitely brings that little bit of like angst to his as well. Because if you look at it from Bruce's perspective, I don't think you can see Bruce as being kind of like not that in the wrong. Because like he thinks that Jason's dead.
Oh yeah,
You
like
know? Like he's 100%. He's like, I've just lost someone, like the equivalent of a son, right?
yeah, like technically speaking, if someone came up to you and said, "Oh, this person you're after is dead," by the way, here's photographic evidence.
Yeah, he sent him a video, didn't he?
Yeah, he sends him evidence, and Batman isn't the same person he was. When you're at Arkham Knight, he's a very experienced Batman. Even in Arkham City, Tim Drake's Robin, which means Dick's been Robin and grown up and become an adult and become Nightwing. Batgirl has been Batgirl, then got shot, then become Oracle. Jason's air quote died, and then we have Tim Drake. That's a lot of years. Like,
Yeah, it's been ages.
So he would. So if someone gives some evidence, this person's dead. We found him. You can give up looking for him now. Or are you gonna be that? Are you gonna be that like skeptical? I don't think you would.
No, and it's like, but then you see it from like Jason's perspective, and it's like he's waiting there to be saved. And it's like you can understand, like he's then like also then depending on which version you go, if he got resurrected by Lazarus Pit or not, like it's still like it's like from his perspective, he's been let to die.
Yeah,
and you can fully understand it. And I think another cool one with the Lazarus Pit, and I'm not sure if you know this theory about it, where because Clayface got dumped in it, didn't he? In City, yeah. They say because apparently he lived. That's what the theory is. So apparently, because of course, like he ends up getting resurrected because there's an unused building for either Saz or people reckon Clayface in the theater in Arkham Knight. And the reason why people believe it's Clayface is because the door's been completely beaten in, and there's like clay stains around the room. And of course, because he was an actor, and he's like in this hidden theater area. So it's like little, like again, another little nod. Whether or not it's true, because like there's a boat outside as well from Arkham City.
Yeah.
Like near the area where you see him, like almost where he falls.
So apparently, in this, samples of Clayface was required by various parties, including Hush, who uses the clay material to hide his surgery scars. Hence why in Batman Arkham Knight he looks exactly like Bruce Wayne, which I thought that was actually pretty cool. And yeah, so apparently to this, you can he's still alive. He's taken by GCPD, and because the Lazarus particles mixed in with his clay, and from the explosion and stuff, he hasn't taken a full form. He's unable to, but technically speaking, he's still living, which by the way must be torturous if you think about it. Like the fact that imagine being alive, but you can't move or Clayface can take any shape. So imagine having the ability to form anything you want, even looking like someone, and that just get ripped from you. That is fucked up.
Would he just be sludge at that?
Yeah, he's literally just literally says he's just a pile of mud. He's literally
like sludge.
Yeah, he's literally a living mud collection, is what it is.
Oh, at that point, probably got it worse than Jason.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fucked up. I'm not gonna lie.
And you can't even kill him. Like what? Like unless you dump him in a volcano or something. He's a pile of sludge.
Like it sounds fucked up, man. Like his if you think about it, his entire life is, hey, I'm clay. I can't get shot. Swords don't hurt me unless I get wet, and then all of a sudden you're just a big pile of nothing. Yeah, apparently when they actually recorded some of Clayface's lines, they made it so he is overly dramatically when he speaks because obviously he was an actor before he's Clayface, so they purposely made it so like he's given like a performance and he's over dramatic when he. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, and just another one of those details. But,
yeah, like, it's full of details and it's absolutely nuts as well.
Because it's been so long since I played games. All right, there's a ton of features I've forgotten. One thing I will never forget is that ending in as well. Just, I think that's pinnacle. Just end.
Yeah.
Like, especially from like a band story. To kill off Joker.
It was a risky move because like yeah, okay, Joker's air quote died before. I mean, like in Justice, his entire thing is Superman kills Joker. You know, like he's died before, but the fact that it's a major end game for a video game, that is nuts. That is just bananas. And like it's not just Joker; it's also voiced by Mark Hamill as well. So you know, like it was a risky move.
But it's also that it's that slow walk out with his body as well.
Yeah, and he puts him on the police car.
They let him hang, and again, you see Harley's reaction as well too. And it's just it's like that. It's just that moment. I think that's just taken the cake of like any of one of those endings. Really, like the rest, like don't hold it. And I think that's kind of where they peaked was at City. But I do appreciate the other two.
Oh no, like out of the four, I think Arkham City is my favorite because it expanded what Asylum did great. It's at its peak. Gameplay is fun. There's a lot of like, you know, traveling and you got to traverse all across the map. You're in sewers. You go underground into like the train stations and shit. There's so much, like the gadgets are 10 times cooler. And it's just like, it has such an impactful storyline. Like, holy shit, Batman could die. Like, there's the moment where Talia comes into it and like she goes to kiss Bruce and she lifts up his mask to see his face. And they are literally centimeters from locking lips. And she just opens her eyes for a brief second, like cacks herself, jumping back like, whoa, what the fuck's happening to you? Type deal. And it's like, oh my fucking god, that is like the attention. You didn't have to do that, but you did, and we appreciate you.
I think it's great, like especially like you said with him dying as well, and that final choice he does as Batman, because where like he. That was in Asylum, wasn't it? Asylum. It's like that. It's like it's from his choice in Asylum, where like he refuses to give him the antidote, and that's what also then nearly kills him as well in City, and then eventually does kill off the Joker. You know, it's kind of like he broke his rule as well.
Well, it's like the one thing that gets memed all the time, but it is such a moment in Arkham Knight. The Joker's in Arkham Knight, but he's not alive. He's in Batman's head. Which I was playing through Arkham Knight. It never actually got explained because, well, it does, but not really, because there's two explanations of why he's seeing the Joker. The first one is you get stabbed like 3 times by Scarecrow overall, so you're hallucinating your fucking head off. Hence. But then when there's the 4 Joker-like people, Joker-fied people, Batman says to Robin there's a 5th one. And Robin's like, oh, who's the 5th one? And Batman doesn't answer, and Robin's like, oh, you're the 5th one. So it's like, well, hang on then, how come Joker? Because Scarecrow stabbed him? Or is he actually seeing Joker because he's slowly becoming the Joker?
Because maybe he's still inflicted with that blood.
Yeah, there's 2.
See, like I always personally saw it as like, oh, it's a mixture of like it was the guilt and the blood that ended up causing him hallucinating Joker. Because I feel like if you were Batman in that situation, it's like technically you did fail. You know, like you're someone like you're someone you like you don't kill people. You might hospitalize them and you might send them to permanent prisons that are arguably worse than certain healthcare.
It's my favorite line from Injustice 2, the storyline. Damian Wayne Robin says, "Oh, so we can't kill people, but you can punch their lights out so heavy you give them brain damage."
Yeah,
That's all good.
but then like you then realize it from his perspective. It's like the Joker's dead, and arguably like that resulted from his choices, like from Batman's choices.
Yeah. With the going doolally, my point was that, and to be fair, it is an absolutely amazing moment. The ending of this, the catalyst of how this disappears in Batman's head is subconsciously you kick the crap into the Joker again, and you physically force him into this box, this big metal container, and it's almost like subconsciously you're pushing the guilt, the whatever you want to call it, you're forcing it into a box. You're closing the door. It's like Batman going, "No, you're not going to overpower me. I'm in charge." And the cool thing is, you actually do play as the Joker for a couple of minutes. You actually get a Joker mobile. You kill a bunch of people and things. Is because like Joker's like, "Well, okay, let me take over. I can drive." He says it from Batman. If you let me drive, Oracle wouldn't have been taken, and stuff like this. But like when he picks up the Joker by the neck, he actually says the iconic line of, "I am the night. I am vengeance," and he screams, "I am Batman," and just tosses the Joker in and closes the door. And it's like, it's cheesy, but it's like pure Batman fans are like, yes, like that is so good.
Oh no, definitely. I feel like you just gotta like sometimes those cheesy moments are great. They had it in Endgame with like, "I am Iron." Like it's a cheesy line, but it works.
Like, it was just like, and the fact that Kevin Conroy delivered that line, and that's the moment, you could have done it when he kicks the crap into Arkham Knight, or Scarecrow, or something, but no, he does it when he stops the Joker from taking over his own mind, and, you lock the Joker away. It's like, yes, that is just pure fucking fantastic. Like, it's so good. It's one of the best. It's one of the best moments. But, yeah, I do believe, City's top, definitely. See, I'm not saying Asylum's bad. Asylum's fantastic, but I think it's last, honestly, because Origins is really good. I really enjoyed my rerun of Origins.
Asylum suffers from age.
Yeah, true.
And I feel like that's the issue. It suffers from age. So like if we're talking like gameplay perspective and stuff like that, I would argue, it's the oldest, it suffers more, it is probably last. However, I love the energy and the vibe that comes off Asylum compared to the other two. Like it's just an uneasy game. Like the entire time. I feel like that's what makes it there. But no, I'm definitely putting City on top. Then it's probably, personally for me, I'd probably have to say Asylum. And then it's the other two kind of share an equal spot.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I fully get your take.
Because like, I just love Origins because you get to see a more of a dickhead Batman. And like, he breaks into the police precinct. You've got to sneak around police officers. Barbara Gordon hacks into your comms and starts talking to you, and Batman literally says, "Right, get off the comms and leave me alone." Like, straight up just tells her, without saying fuck off, he tells her to fuck off. The electrocutioner, whatever the fuck he calls, gets kicked out of a window, gets impaled by a fucking chandelier or something, and Batman's like, "I'll take your gauntlets, thanks for that." He just doesn't care. He just takes the guy's tech and leaves the dead body there. Like, he couldn't give two flying fucks. With Alfred, has a full-blown screaming match with Alfred. Like, this Bruce does not give a flying fuck.
It's the ego.
Yeah, but
it's just that ego of his where it's just, I am the Batman.
But it also has some of my favorite detective scenes, because like, there's times in Asylum they did it kind of. City didn't really lean into it. Knight did. I think Knight did use Origins as a test run. But like, there's moments where it's in first person, you get to be a detective. but like one of my favorite detective moments is the Black Mask's main office, or is it like his house or something? You're in a room and you're trying to put together, right, there's a dead guy here, he's not Black Mask. That chair's been scuffed across the floor. There's a blood stain here, which makes no sense. That blood doesn't belong to that guy. The window's also been opened. And like it takes you about 10 minutes to do, but you do piece together what happens. And it just feels so fun to be a Batman detective, because that's what he is. He's a detective at the end of the day. You know, and it just feels so good to actually be a detective.
Oh, 100%. Fully agree. Like, it's like, I feel like that's one thing a lot of people kind of forget about Batman. So they're always like, oh, he just punches people. Like, no, he is a detective, wasn't he? What did they call him back when he originally came out? I can't remember now. But it's just that whole, like, thing. Like, even, like, again, it's still in the older games where, like, he goes around, he has to scan everything first, he takes slow, and then, like, it's only when really shit hits the fan. Like, you can play a hell of a lot of the games as well stealthily if you use a lot of the detective skill.
Yeah. I think that's one of my favorite things to do, just running around, is when you're able to sneak up on a group of dudes talking and stealth take down one of them and no one's noticed. And it's just like, you guys are still talking. I've knocked out your friend. No, I'm just gonna crouch here. Okay, cool. And they're still talking to each other like nothing's happened.
That's just the pinnacle, like, stealth gameplay moment with so many things. Is so many games where it's just like Skyrim, especially, like you shoot someone across the room and then it's like, oh, it must have been the wind.
Yeah,
like, sure, okay.
Hey, this
on conversation, like nothing just happened.
This man has an arrow in his neck. That wind is brutal. You know, what's your favorite gadget out of all the Arkham series?
I've always loved the remote boomerang.
How did I fucking know you were gonna say that? I knew you were gonna say
that. It
that.
slows down time. Like, you can just, and it does no damage. Like, especially like in mid combat, like, it does no damage. But it's always just funny. Slow down time and just targeting that one dude. He just gets stunned a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the remote battering. I think that's pretty cool. I like the way, you know, the little remote device you get in each game.
Oh, pardon?
I like the way that in each game it's slightly different.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not exactly the same, because like sometimes you've got to piece up the words, sometimes it's like a wavy line that you've got to match together. And like after Asylum, it is just but the way that you do it is different. I just like the fact it's unique, it's slightly unique in each one. I think it's pretty cool. I do find though Asylum is the only one that has such a big thing about you getting new gadgets. You know, like the Batmobile drives in and gives you one. The Batwing drops off one. You know, and all this stuff. Like, they do it again in City, but like I just feel that Asylum had that, like, oh my god, Batman, you need this gadget. Here you go. We're gonna do it a different way than last time. It just made it a bit more of an oomph of you getting a new gameplay mechanic.
Bigger of an event. I also liked in Asylum. He actually uses some of them in the cutscenes.
Yeah,
like, I'm not sure if you noticed, like in the Titan fight against Joker again, where like he puts the glue on his hand before he punches Joker.
That would hurt.
Gel.
I'm sorry, I don't care if you're wearing a Batman suit. That would fucking hurt. That shit blows up concrete.
You know, it's just one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, sure. Why wouldn't he do? Of course, he's got explosive glue on him. Why wouldn't he just punch Joker with the explosive glue?
Yeah, that's very true. It's a very Batman thing to do.
Yeah, like I feel like there's so many other games where it's like, oh, I've got all these tools, but I can only use them in gameplay. Or there's like so many tools you see in the cutscene. It's like, but in the gameplay, I've got a knife.
Yeah, that's very true. It's one way or the other, isn't it? That's very true. Yeah, I also find that they're very good at like traversing, you know, making you kind of juggle the gadgets. You know, you'll be 85% into the storyline and you still have to juggle from, oh, here's a wall you got to blow up, and then you're in the next room, oh yeah, by the way, you got a remote device to open this door, and then to get across into the next room, you have to use your zip line. You know, they still make you juggle. There's not a gadget that feels air quote loud.
No, they've definitely allowed it to. They just expanded what you could do, but it doesn't mean that they've necessarily removed what you previously were able. Like some things I think got upgraded. If I remember correctly, like you just start with boomerangs and then you get the remote boomerangs, and then you can like get the boomerangs can then conduct electricity. If I remember that.
So in Asylum, you just have the remote. You just have the Batarang, and then you get the remote Batarang, the Backlaw, the zip line, remote hacking thingy, mobobby, whatever the fuck it's actually called. And then I think it's City that introduces the electrifying of the remote control Batarang. But in Arkham City onward, there's actually puzzles in the storyline that you have to throw the remote control Batarang, fly it through like a conductor of some kind, pick up the electricity, and then fly it around and hit something. They actually make that a thing, because that's one of the major puzzles in Penguin's iceberg lounge thing in Arkham City museum or whatever the fuck it is.
That fucking the shark.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, there's the frozen bit in it, and then as you progress, because you revisit places in, I think majority, in every Batman game you always revisit places, and when you first get there, you just got to be sneaky, and then eventually you got to glide across like the water on the ice platforms and shit, and then drag them, and the shark.
Terrifying.
To be fair,
terrifying. It's that Killer Croc issue. Like 8 jump scares.
The really dark thing is when it's all frozen, you can see people in the ice frozen, dead. It's like that shark's like, that's my icicle for after dessert, you know.
That's my human pop.
Oh Jesus Christ! You've heard of Ice Pop coming to Iceland near you with Human Pop. Collect all 5 fingers.
I mean, like it's cool, but at the same time, some of those remote control things, I love the remote control. Oh, sometimes it's just annoying and it would take a while to do. It wasn't really smooth, but I guess that's the issue of its time. Like
when it's the remote, when it's the device that you have to make a word, and it's like 3 to 5 on each side, you have to make a password. Some of them are like really obvious, like you're tracking down Harley Quinn, and one of the passwords is like laughter or something. You know, it's quite obvious. You're chasing Harley Quinn, but then like when you're chasing down Hugo Strange, you're able to make the word therapy. Nope, that don't work. You're able to make the word like therapist. No, that don't work. But it ends up being something really fucking random.
Yeah, no, sometimes I've stumbled in to the right answer just by fiddling. With some of those puzzles.
Yeah, I like how sometimes it tricks you. Like you can make a word, but there is a solid word in front of you. Like, nah, make another word. You know, I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll make another word. But yeah, it's the gadgets are really cool. It makes you feel like you have a utility belt. You know, it's the main thing about Batman, that he has a gadget for every scenario. Yeah, in this game, you literally do.
Yeah, no, it's like when it comes to him, he's encountered a problem, so he gets a gadget that solves that problem, and he still uses it.
I think my 2 favorite times of getting a gadget is one is in Arkham Origins. You're in, I want to say it's in the police precinct when you break in. I could be wrong, but you literally just pick up the randomest bollocks and build that electrical gun thing that opens the door. Yeah, it's just like, where the fuck are you getting these pieces from, and how the fuck did you know how to build that?
That's some McGubbins going on there. Well, one of my favorite, I think this is correct. It's when Alfred drops it from the sky.
Yeah. So
is it the boost to the glide? I swear. I can't remember.
In Arkham Asylum, Alfred makes the Batwing drop down a pod that you have to go and collect, and that's the zip line launcher thing. I know that because it shatters through a glass ceiling. And then in City, it happens again. I just don't remember what gadget it is.
I just always find it cool because, oh yeah, he does have the bang.
Yeah.
Why can't we fly that around?
It's funny, right? One of the gadgets you unlock in Arkham Knight, it's the ice grenade. And you unlock it if you find it in the theatre place that all the Jokerized people are in. It's literally laying on a table somewhere. You have to walk up and... That's the extra gadget, is an ice grenade. You have to walk up to a table and pick it up. That's it. And that's how you get another gadget.
Can't it just exist? Fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's just there. Robin's been juggling it for a couple hours, waiting for the test results. You know.
He just knew your sweet left.
Who's your favourite boss fight? And you can pick from any of the 4 Arkham games.
Oh god, it's not my least favorite, really. Just because I any of the car ones, just I don't feel like I'm playing Batman. I feel like I'm playing a car. So that gets I have issues with the Scarecrow ones, but again, stylistically.
And you really count that as a boss fight, though, because you do it like 4 times throughout the game.
Yeah, but technically, it's a boss fight. Again,
I suppose.
It's just one of those things. Stylistically, it's cool.
Okay.
Let's
reword it then. Batman fighting a villain.
Is it Deathstroke? Kill us. I can't remember which one it was. Where he was a massive pain in the ass. I remember that. I think it was Deathstroke.
Deathstroke's great. I love fighting Deathstroke. Like, it's a bitch, but I just love it so much. It's such a good fight.
Or like, see, how do I pronounce the name? Ra's al Ghul?
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, and as well that one as well. Just I don't mind a bastard or a fight because it just feels like I'm getting better slowly.
Yeah,
as it goes on.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. With Ra's al Ghul, you gotta learn his patterns because there's only 2 ways you can deal damage. The first one is when he's a big colossal thing and he throws these massive sword blades at you. You have to roll out of the way and you're eventually able to... And then you can pummel him, but you have to get through him. Constant sword strike barrage, and then you're able to punch him in the face. You just gotta learn Ra's al Ghul's gameplay, his format. Once you learn that, he's not easy. It just makes it easier. That's all.
I think like the Bane one's all right as well from City.
Yeah,
where you gotta kind of chase him, like get him to chase you about. I find it's always kind of funny.
Yeah, the what is it? Is it Night that mission's in? Yeah, I want to say it's Arkham Knight. It one of the games, there's a side quest where you have to go around and blow up Titan containers with Bane. Bane will take down 5 and you take down 5. You gotta go map and blow them up. And it looks like he's gonna be a major, huge boss. He really isn't. Batman just locks him in a cage.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can stay in there. It's like, okay, that led up to nothing.
Oh, that's the thing though. That's the same with Riddler and Cyber. You do all this, you're finding all these, you think you like, oh, will I see Riddler, will I not? And he gets arrested over the comms.
Yeah,
how did you find my address?
So one thing we haven't spoke about, when you lose in the game, when you die, or
death
like
scenes.
the death animations, you actually have the villains stand over you and they say stuff, and there's quite a few different ones as well. Like you can find them on YouTube, like compilations of them. They're like easily 8 to 10 minutes long sometimes, depending on the game. But they are so good.
I love it. Infuriating after, like, especially if you've died a few times, and it's like, oh come on, Batsy, why weren't you as strong? And it's like, fucking shut up. But I love him. It's such a good personality for a game.
It's just like, Jokers are like, oh, I thought you'd do better than this. And I'm like, yes, I fucking know. Shut up.
Like, especially like if you replay them on like the harder season, it's even more insulting. But there's so much personality.
Oh, yeah, that's something else. One of the teases that Joker isn't Joker in Arkham City. There's hang on, I'm gonna Google this. I have it here. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. Down. Where is it? Aha! Game voice lines. Joker. Okay, so when Clayface impersonating Joker, he'll only say 5 sentences. One of them is, "Get up, Bats. Hey, you ain't looking so good. Oh, Bats, if only you knew what I have planned. You just gotta die. Aren't you supposed to be up on your feet trying to stop me?" And then there's 2 of them that literally give it away. One, "Next, I will become you, Batman." That is just before Clayface's boss fight. And then if you die as fighting Clayface, his sentence is, "It was a performance of a lifetime, is the performance I was born to be," which I thought was really good. But the first 3 are Joker. I thought it was actually really good that they gave Clayface's Joker 3 separate voice lines to actual Joker.
I love that type of stuff again. Like, especially Clayface. I thought Clayface was really well done. X-ray him, and it's like, oh shit, it's Clayface. It's like, well, it's because he has no bones, and I think it's those little character details that you don't really see too often anymore.
And the really cool thing is, as well, is even it still carries on into like little things like the DLCs. If you lose, the DLC characters get, the villain hovering over them, they'll say stuff. And I think if you lose as Harley Quinn, then it's actually Nightwing that has them in the DLC, which is a nice touch. I think that's really cool. That's a nice touch, to be fair. So, like, one of my favorites in Arkham Origins is Penguin's one of Penguin's one. He goes, "And that's why I'm the boss. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got business to attend to. Piss off." It's such a good line.
No, I love all of them. They're just, again, infuriating. Especially because you have to wait a little bit just to retry.
But yeah, fucking there's quite a few different ones that are just like always like you said, that you sometimes when you hear them over and over again. The one that used to piss me off the most is in Arkham City. You're after Cobblepot for information or some crap, and there's a point where, now when I first played this game, I didn't understand what I had to breathe through, but he stood in the center of the room, and there's like corridors, like pathways leading out, and there's only sections of walls. There isn't a whole wall, and you've got to hide behind them because he's got this big Tommy gun looking thing, and if you get in the way, it's like ice enhanced or some shit. So if you get in the way, you just get barraged. You can die in seconds if you haven't got upgraded your suit yet. You can die in a couple of hits, and obviously if you do die, Penguin's animations will start, and one of the ones that used to, like, I love it, but it used to piss me off, is where he goes, "Anyone want a slightly used bat suit? I'm sure the blood will wash off fine." And it's just like, shut up. Like, I have PTSD hearing that.
Yeah, no. I think it's just one of those personality things, I think, with those games, and I think it's just another thing that just makes those games just ever a bit more better. But at the time, hated.
Yeah. So now we're at this point where, because Warner Brothers owns the rights to anything DC game related, we're now at that point where Warner Brothers has basically said, hey, these are the 5 or 6, companies that we're funding still. These are the games that they're allowed to do, etc., etc. Combat being one of them, hence why we're getting another Mortal Kombat game. And one of them is the people behind the Arkham series. And they're only funding the companies for Arkham games, which means we're going at some point in the future, we're going to see another Arkham game. Hopefully it's not VR. As you can tell, we haven't mentioned the VR. We haven't played it. Just saying.
I've seen it. Joke. It's the Batman who laughs, isn't it? I think it's. There's a story behind it.
No, the new one is
the other one.
Is Arkham Shadows. That is Arkham Shadows, and it's to do with the Rat King, which is interesting. But anyway, my question to you was going to be if you could kind of like pitch a Batman Arkham idea. It can be set at any point, because they've already said that the Batman who dies in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is canon to the Arkhamverse, isn't Batman. That is a clone of Batman. Batman isn't actually dead, it's fine. So Batman's still alive. But if you could give us an Arkham pitch, what would your Arkham pitch be?
Remove it from Suicide Squad. Not really a fan. But no, definitely the old Batman. Like Batman at the end. Like it's gonna end one way or another. He dies or he retires. Because like he's like passing the mantle on. Like I loved your idea about like what if you had a younger Batman as well. I think that would work great, like having a bit of a character switch up. But I definitely want to see that like Batman at his most experienced, but now is struggling with his humanity because he's not a super.
One thing you could do is that throughout this game, Alfred's on his deathbed. Like this dude's like 100 years old. He's literally in his deathbed, and Batman keeps saying to Alfred, "Look, let me, end your suffering. Let me, I can give you something. We can inject you with something. You let me end." Alfred's like, "No, I want to go naturally. I'm an old man now." And then Bruce can laugh at the fact that Alfred says he's old because now Bruce is really old. Alfred's had a fantastic. He's really. And then at the end of the game, Alfred does pass away, and then the game can end with Bruce being the Alfred for the new Batman. Like Batman retires the suit and becomes the guy behind the chair, the not the butler per se, but the guy who looks after the new Batman. That's the storyline for Bruce, is he has to accept that one, he lost his Alfred, but now he gets to be the Alfred for another Batman.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just make it like I feel like that would be a great way for him to realize like maybe he is, maybe he shouldn't be clinging on to this idea. That he is the only one for it. He's always been like, I am. He doesn't think anybody, like none of the others have taken up his mantle unless it's been like one of those weird offshoots where he's died and someone's taken the suit. So and I'm not sure if we've ever had one where he's just willingly given it up.
Not in game, no, we haven't had anything like that. One thing I'd like to see is a game that's in the Arkham universe, but you don't play as Batman. Give us like Nightwing or Batgirl. Like Nightwing would be really cool. It'd be interesting to see a Nightwing game, but you play as young Robin as well, like him being a young Robin, like there's flashbacks, and like maybe you see how like his parents die or something, like how did he end up being working, how did he become Robin, sort of thing. Like give us that, maybe what's happening with Nightwing is a result of him fucking up as a kid Robin, and you get to see how he fucks up as a kid Robin and why it's affecting him now, type deal or something, that'd be kind of cool.
See, the thing is, again, I'm not really a fan of seeing these origin stories from characters we've seen before, Batman, Spider, and Superman. We've seen their origin stories, but someone like maybe like a Robin, like haven't actually seen, or like in any major format. Like he's like a not really seeking character. So I think that would be.
I mean, one thing I wouldn't mind seeing is a Tim Drake Robin game, because obviously he is the main Robin in the Arkham series, and we know he gets married. So like maybe have Tim Drake start off with like, maybe he's not retired, but he's like, he's not Robin every night anymore. You know, he's a house husband. You know, he takes care of Barbara and things. But just there's one thing, there's just one villain or one event that happens, and even Barbara's like, yeah, go put on the suit, go put on your suit. I'll get my computer ready, sort of deal. And then he has to, you know, be Robin again. Like, give us, because Tim Drake is very, very shadowy. He doesn't get a lot of attention. He's only ever had one live action, and it was fucking dread awful. He is in the animated cartoon. That was pretty cool, but again, Nightwing was there, so he did get shadowed a lot. You know, he's not the focus point. So a game where Tim Drake Robin is the main character, you have Oracle. You know, given no offense, the fucking staff shield was wank. Give him better gadgets. You know, give him a villain that isn't well known. Like, you know, don't give him Bane or Riddler or Two-Face. Give him someone that's a bit, maybe someone new that's in the comics or something. You know, make them in the Arkham universe or something. But a Tim Drake Robin game would be kind of cool.
Make it more like you're playing Tim Drake. You're not playing Batman, the real living one. You know, and I feel like that's the trap we often fall in. Like, it's we'll probably get it as, but like with the Spider-Man games, you know, where it feels more like a replacement rather than a new character.
Yeah, and like, I would love saying that there is more than one Batgirl, and there's also Batwoman. They never did anything with Batwoman ever. You know, Kate Kane isn't in this, so like it would be kind of interesting to maybe do the second Batwoman or the first Batwoman or the second Batgirl. You know, give us some girl power. That'd be kind of badass. Because the second Batgirl is Cassandra. I want to say, I'm gonna have to Google this so I don't mess up my info, because I am known as the comic book here. So if I do mess this up, I will have. Yeah, Cassandra Cain. I thought it was. She is the second Batgirl, but she's the daughter of an assassin, two assassins actually. One of them, while she's been in the League of Assassins, she actually helps out Tim Drake. It actually says that in the comic books, her partner in Hero is Tim Drake Robin. She's actually in lineup. She's actually not the second Batgirl. She's actually like the third or some shit. And she's also been known as Orphan, which as Orphan, she didn't talk. She was silent. She literally didn't speak. So that would be rather interesting, because she's been trained from birth, and she was literally born to be the perfect bodyguard to Ra's al Ghul. So maybe you could give us like a, you know, kind of a Batgirl who's trying to be Batgirl. Maybe the League of Assassins are after her type deal. You know, there's Lady Shiva, there's Talia's sister. You know, there's all sorts of characters in the League of Assassins lore you could use. That would be that'd be pretty cool. And then again, we have a different character you can play as. That again, yes, is Batman-esque, sure, because Batgirl is just a female Batman, but she's her own character at the end of the day. You know, she takes on Deathstroke, Penguin quite a lot. You know, there's quite a few characters that she's had like medals with, so like it'd be kind of interesting to see if they could do something like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. The one thing I do not want to see, and so I've started to realize it's just a type of game, so a spy, and that is just like a remaster. Just it's Arkham Asylum but new, or Arkham City but new, or like Arkham Knight but new. Like, I'm just slowly despising them because the creativity just isn't there. I've already seen these stories. I don't want to see these stories again. The originals are still playable. You know,
No, that's a very good point. That is a very good point. It is very. What's the word? Nowadays gaming can be very repetitive. You look at a game and you're like, hang on, this is just this, but a different flavor. Like, I don't want this.
No, they're playing it safe because so much money going into these things now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want you to play safe. I want you to play a bit like risky with a fastball. Like this is what gaming like guys used to do. They used to take these risks. It's like, oh, if this fucks up, the company's ruined, and that's what made them put the effort in. I just hate to see like the soul just get continued to rip out of what was the Batman Arkham legacy.
Well, one thing that I've just read is that Cassandra Cain's most recent appearance is in Supergirl comics, and she's the leader of the League of Assassins, and she's been hired by someone to kill Supergirl. Imagine that as an Arkham game where Supergirl's actually you are playing as Batgirl, but you could have these two storylines that mirror each other where, you're playing Batgirl who, I don't know, is trying to do something, but then you're also playing as the League of Assassins trying to kill Supergirl, but it also turns out that both characters are the same person. You're playing a past tense and a present tense sort of storyline, or present tense and a future tense or something. But it'd be kind of cool to see like that sort of stuff, because yes, okay, they've said that Batman dying in Suicide Squad isn't canon. They're gonna make it a clone or some shit. They even said we'll make it a clone or something. They don't even know what they're doing.
Backpedal. That was the issue with that. They realized, oh shit, people really didn't. And then they were like, yeah, no, let's pull that decision backwards. He's alive, guys. Don't worry about it.
But like the thing is with that is they've made it canon that Batman does join the Justice League. So one thing they could give us in the Arkham games, don't make them too much apparent. Don't do a Lego Batman 2 and 3. We don't want that. But like, have other characters pop in. Have a Green Lantern show up. Maybe
here's an idea, because they did kill the Justice League. What about the Teen Titans?
Yeah, exactly. Have an Arkham game where instead of working with Nightwing and Robin, Batgirl, you're working with Cyborg and Raven and, that sort of stuff. That'd be dope.
No, maybe hunt down like the Suicide Squad members or something silly.
That would be absolutely fucking hilarious. They wrote their wrong by making it so the Teen Titans go after the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like it's like, well, these guys are like, we've killed a lot of the heroes off now, so let's have a lot of the teenagers come in and try to kick some ass.
See, okay, so we'll briefly run over Suicide Squad. Technically canon games. My biggest gripe with that game is we got Gotham Knights relatively, within the same couple of years, right? Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad didn't do well. Neither of them did.
No.
Now, Gotham Knights, my issue isn't the fact that it might... Okay, my two biggest gripes with Gotham Knights is, one, they made it so the storyline doesn't matter what character you play as. It is every cutscene has been rendered for every character. There is no uniqueness to it whatsoever. That's my problem. Cutscene to cutscene. There may be a few dialogue changes, but that's about it. The second thing is, me and James have played it for like an hour. You have to do like 5 different things around the map, kick the crap into bad guys and all sorts of shit, to upgrade your travel mechanics, which means you have to play the game for at least over an hour just so Batgirl can fucking glide.
No,
she has a fucking cape.
It's the one I think like it's modern gaming that's kind of inject. I looked at those games and I was like, not me. I'm not interested. That was like my main. It was like, why don't I want to play Suicide Squad? Like, it could be good, but I'm looking at this gameplay and it looks bland.
Well, see, the thing...
Like, I've always been a gameplay first type person.
Yeah, I know, yeah. the thing is with those two games, right? The thing that makes no sense in my head, if you look at the ending of Arkham Knight, Bruce's identity gets revealed, which we need to bring that up before. We need to bring that up because I forgot about that. Bruce Wayne's identity is revealed. Everyone knows who he is. Holy fucking shit. He blows up Wayne Manor, all this crap, and he's presumed dead. Now, we still don't know if he's actually dead. That's the whole thing. You still have no idea, and you only get that if you actually complete. Originally, you had to do everything. You had to 100% the map, but they didn't update not long after the DLC was added, where now you only have to do 60 or 50% or something like that. You have to do like 5 of the major things on the map. You have to complete like 5 of them or 6 of them or something to unlock that cutscene. But Gotham Knight, the whole game, Batman's dead. That's the whole point of the game, is what are these 4 characters going to do? So why not make that the Arkham sequel and then just make Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League its own thing?
Okay.
Huh?
I think I got caught in the whole everything's got to be attached. Just the multiverse issue as well. Everything's got to be we got a franchise. It's like, oh no, let's just have this as a story. It's like if they all of a sudden decided, oh, Injustice is now part. No, please, no, God. Just let them be separate. Let them live.
So, I complete. How the fuck did we do this entire episode and not mention the fact the ending of Arkham Knight? Like, we completely glossed over the fact that Batman's whole identity gets revealed. Because
it's been so long.
So just explain that one. Basically, it ends with Scarecrow kidnapping Gordon after Gordon finds out it's Batman's fault that Oracle was kidnapped, and she is Oracle. Like, he kind of finds out, she's the computer whiz for Batman.
Yeah.
And you're taken back. I think it's actually in Arkham Asylum. I think you actually get taken back there. But once you get back to Arkham Asylum, you're strapped in. That's when you do the whole fight thing with Joker in your head and all that crap. And Scarecrow does unmask you. And when you take off the mask, he's broadcasting this to like everywhere. And your entire fucking, the entire world knows that you're Bruce Wayne. That's when you beat Scarecrow. He then gets arrested. And then I did like the fact, though, that after the game, they gave you, it's not a case of, how, and then it goes, right, well done. Yeah, you've completed the game. Go fuck off and, complete the side quests or whatever. No, this game actually has, Bruce Wayne talking to Alfred. He's like, oh, activate the Nightfall protocol, whatever the fuck it's called. Nightfall protocol. And Alfred's like, are you sure, sir? Bruce is like, well, I'm gonna clean up Gotham first. I'm gonna do this night. But yeah, when I get home, that's what we're gonna do. So it actually gives you like a reason to carry on playing this, done with the main storyline, which I thought was pretty cool. But
definitely more interesting than just be either the game's over now, and here's how it ends, or like it's like no, nothing's gonna happen. So just continue playing.
Yeah, I've just completed Infamous. I'm doing Infamous now on my channel, and literally as soon as you finish the Infamous first game, it literally goes, oh, well, congratulations, you completed the main storyline. Go run around the map, you've got side quests and shards as this. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, it's what I quite liked about the old Fallout game. But they're like, oh, the game's about to end, by the way. So if you don't do all the side quests, you might miss some shit.
Yeah. But like, Batman Arkham Knight was like, hey, by the way, if you want to activate the protocol, you've got to help clean up Gotham. But yeah, I think that's why I had this idea in my head that the Arkham Knight storyline and the Scarecrow storyline should have been separate games. Because, I feel like there would have been... Because there's not much time between you kicking the crap into the Arkham Knight to you stopping Scarecrow. There isn't that much. Literally, I think there's 2 missions in between it. and Scarecrow helps you out. Scarecrow uses a sniper and he helps you. So I think it would have been really cool if you did, like, you complete that game and then, you know, end the game with a teaser to the next one, like, oh, you know, maybe when you beat up Jason, he's like, oh, I did something bad, and Bruce is like, well, yeah, you did, you killed all these people, and he's like, no, I helped out Scarecrow, he's coming, by the way, which then you could use then into, like, you know, why Gotham gets cleared out or some shit, and then do Scarecrow storyline, you know, using the fear toxin, get Poison Ivy to help you, Poison Ivy dies, blah, 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 all that crap still. And then when you're fighting Scarecrow and Jason helps you out, no one would have seen that coming whatsoever. That Jason's there fucking shooting Scarecrow for you a whole game later. But, like, just don't get me wrong, I love Arkham Knight still. It's just a part of me does feel like maybe it would have benefited because there's a lot going on in Arkham Knight. It's a big ass storyline. I just feel like maybe, maybe
to make it.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe it benefited being separate.
Yeah, no, I think that's just one of the things. I think that ends up happening when you end up having a rush of story, and I think that's just what caused. They probably might have intended it to be a bit longer, a bit more of a build up to Scarecrow, but didn't have time, and that happened. Product as well. So
But
no, I completely get where you're coming from.
Well, we've now been chatting for over 2 hours.
Yeah,
So,
probably have to go.
so yeah, we'll leave this episode here. Thank you so much for just chatting shit about Batman for 2 hours.
Oh no, my memory's a bit shot from it because it's been since before college, so over 10 years.
Well, like I said, I played it last year because I recorded them. Yeah. Well, yeah, like, you know, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're gonna make this and we'll sometimes it'll be like a whole series like this. You know, sometimes our episodes may only be 45 minutes because we're talking about one game. You know, we can mix and match it. You know, I don't care if we do that. You know, sometimes, you know, with the Arkham games, they are very similar. They're one concurrent, you know, storyline. They're all connected. You know, it's just Batman at the end of the day. Hence why I said, hey, let's just put it in one. But, you know, maybe there's a game series out there where each game does deserve its own episode.
We'll have to find it.
So, that being said, thank you, Anthony, for coming on. It's been a blast.
Yeah,
I can't wait to,
you know, chatting some random crap.
Yeah, I'll have you on again in a couple of weeks, and we can pick another game. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, if you listen to us on Spotify or your podcast platforms, don't forget to follow us and star rate or however that works. If you're listening on YouTube, let us know what you think about the Arkham series. You know, rate them for us, all that stuff. We'd love to hear people's opinions. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That has to. I love you all. We're passionate, everybody, and we shall see you guys in the next one.
Goodbye.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by three cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Ty Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.